Good morning, students. Welcome to class 11 biology class, unit 4th, chapter 13 or 18. Today's topic is transpiration. Plant require water for their life processes. Now the quantity of water is taken is always in excess of the quantity actually utilized by them. The surplus water is given up in the form of water vapor. Thus the transpiration is the loss of water in the form of water vapors from aerial part of the plant body is called transpiration. Transpiration is a vital process and it occurs only in the plant through tiny pores known as stomata. About 98 to 99% part of water absorbed by plants is lost in the form of water vapors by process of transpirations. On the basis of surface of transpirations, there are many types of transpiration. Stomatal or foliar transpirations, stomatal or foliar transpirations, the loss of water which take place through specialized apertures which are present in leaves is called foliar transpirations. Most of about 80 to 90% transpiration is as foliar transpirations which take place through stomata. Cuticular transpirations, transpiration through cuticle is called the cuticular transpirations. Cuticular transpiration is only 3 to 10%, 80 to 90% is stomatal, 3 to 10% cuticular. Cuticular transpiration is continuous throughout day and night, but stomatal transpiration takes place only at daytime. Lenticular transpiration through lenticels. Loss of water through the lenticels of fruit and woody stem is called lenticular transpirations. Lentils are small minute pores present in some stony fruits as well as bark of the plants. Lenticular transpiration is only 0.1% of total transpirations. However, continuous day and night close. Lenticular transpiration, loss of water through the lenticel of fruits and woody stem is called lenticular transpirations. Lentils are minute pores present in woody fruits or stony fruits and bark of woody plants. It is only 0.1% of total transpirations. It remains continue day and night because this system don't contain any closure systems. Experimental demonstration of transpirations that loss of water takes place from plants can be shown experimentally. Take a potted plant. It should be potted in metal pots, or if it is potted in earthen pots, then covered with polythene or rubber sheet. Take a well-watered potted plant. cover the surface of soil or whole pot with polythene or rubber sheet, and whole pot with plant is covered with a glass bell jar. Put this apparatus in the sunlight for some times, and after some time we observe the tiny water droplets in the inner surface of glass bell jars. There is no other mean of loss of water, only from the plants. This experiment demonstrates the loss of water or transpiration process. The most significant type of transpiration is stomatal transpiration or transpiration through stomata. So now know a little about the stomata or stomata apparatus. Stomata are the pore on leaf epidermis through which internal parts of plants are in direct contact with external atmosphere. These are found mostly on the lower surface of leaves. The number and density of stomata on leaf surface varies from plant to plant. A square centimeter of leaf area may contain up to 100,000 or 1 lakh stomata. A structure of a stomata. Stomata is a elliptical pore guarded by two bean-shaped or kidney-shaped guard cells. Guard cells are protected by epidermal cells known as subsidiary cells or accessory cells. The inner wall of guard cells are too much thick, but outer wall is thinner. Accessory cells are subsidiary cells. Guard cells have nucleus and chloroplast. Due to presence of chloroplast, it performs photosynthesis. Structurally, stomata are elliptical pore on leaf epidermis which are bounded by two kidney-shaped epidermal cells known as guard cells. Guard cells regulate the process of opening and closing of stomatal pore. In monocotyledonous plants, guard cells are dumbbell-shaped. Epidermal cells surrounding guard cells are called accessory cells or subsidiary cells. Protoplasm of guard cells contain chloroplast. Due to presence of chloroplast, they synthesize food materials by photosynthesis process. The cell wall is unevenly thickened. The outer wall is thin and elastic, while the inner wall is thick and inelastic. Due to this differential thickening of the cell wall, the stomatal pore open when guard cells are turgid. Likewise, they close when guard cells are flaccid. So when they become turgid or flaccid, the chloroplast present in guard cells synthesize sugar. Daytime sugar is soluble in water. It dissolves in protoplasm of the guard cells, increasing osmotic pressure of guard cells so that their DPD or suction pressure increase and they suck water from subsidiary cells and become turgid. As their inner wall is thick and outer wall is thin, it swell up outsides, stretching the inner wall outsides, thus stomata open. On the loss of water, they become flaccid and its inner wall come closer to each other, thus closing the stomata. The distribution of stomata in dicot plants, stomata are found generally on lower surface. However, in monocots, these are present on both the surface. In dicot plants, dorsiventral leaves are found, but in monocot plants, isobilateral leaves are present. Means both surface of leaves are remain in contact with sunlight. On the basis of their distribution, stomata may be of many types, like the apple type, in this type stomata are found only on the lower surface. Example, apple, peach, walnut, potato type. Stomata are higher in lower surface and lower in number in upper surface. The potato, dolichos, etc. Oat type. In this type, number of stomata is almost equal on both the surface of leaves. Oat, pea, wheat. Water lily type. Stomata are confined to upper surface only. These are totally absent on the lower surface. The water lily, lotus, and Potamogeton type. In this type are included in submerged aquatic plants. In these plants, stomata are either absent or very few in number. If present, these are rudimentary and non-functional. The Potamogeton, Hydrilla, etc. Type of stomata on the basis of number and shape. Ranunculus type. Ranunculus type. In this type of stomata, 5 subsidiary cells are found around guard cells. Subsidiary cells are morphologically like other epidermal cells. Such stomata are also known as anomycetic type or anomycetic stomata. Cruciferous type. Guard cells are surrounded by 3 subsidiary cells, in which 2 cells are larger and 1 is small. Such stomata are known as anisocytic. Rubeaceous type. Rubeaceous type stomata, guard cells are surrounded by 2 subsidiary cells. These are placed parallel to axis of stomatal pore. These stomata are known as paracyclic stomata. Caryophyllaceous type. Caryophyllaceous type stomata. In this type, also there are two subsidiary cells around guard cells of a stomata. These are perpendicular to longitudinal axis of guard cells. Such stomata are said to be dicyclic and actinocyclic type. This type of stomata are found in monocot plants. Here, 4 or more subsidiary cells are found radially arranged around guard cells. On the basis of daily movement, alfalfa type. Plants in these stomata are open throughout day and night are called as alfalfa types. For example, in mesophytes like radish, bean, pea, mustard, etc. Potato type. Plant in which stomata are open throughout day and night except few hours in the evening are called potato type. Onion, cabbage, pumpkin and barley type. Plants in which stomata are open only for a few hours during the day. Example, all cereal plants. Mechanism of stomatal opening and closing. Mechanism of stomatal opening and closing. Stomatal movement is brought about by change in volume and shape of guard cells. The expansion and contraction of guard cells is possibly due to turgidity and flaccidity of guard cells. When the guard cells absorb water by osmosis, they become turgid and bulge out, stretching its inner wall. As a result, the pore get concave and open. On losing turgidity, they reassume their original shape, narrowing the stomata and ultimately closing it. 3 theories has been given to explain the mechanism of stomatal opening and closing. First is osmotic theory of stomatal opening and closing. Von Mohl proposed osmotic theory of opening and closing of stomata. According to him, chloroplast present in the guard cells synthesize osmotically active substance by photosynthesis. During daytime, chloroplast synthesize osmotically active substance are sugar. These substances increase the osmotic pressure of guard cells. Sugar is soluble in water present in cytoplasm of guard cells. As much as sugar is dissolving in the cytoplasm of the guard cells, its osmotic pressures increased. Due to increased osmotic pressure, cells absorb water from subsidiary cells and become turgid. This turgidity leads to opening of stomata. During dark period, these osmotically active substances means sugar either utilized in the respirations or converted into starch, which is insoluble in cytoplasm, thus decreasing the osmotic pressure of the subsidiary cells, and it becomes flaccid. and stomata close. Second theory is starch, sugar interconversion theory. Actually, the opening and closing of stomata depends on osmotic pressure of the guard cells. All theories are dependent on the osmotic pressures. This theory was proposed by Lord in 1908. According to him, the turbidity of guard cells is controlled by change in osmotic pressure caused by interconversion of starch and sugar. He found that the amount of guard cells, starch in guard cells increased by night and decreased by day. During daytime, guard cell of stomata contains sugar synthesized by their chloroplast by the use of sunlight. Sugar is soluble and increase the concentration of cell shape of guard cells. Due to higher concentration of cytoplasm of guard cells, the water comes to them from the neighboring cells by osmosis and they become turgid, with the result stomata open. At night, sugar is either utilized in respirations and excess sugar is converted into starch. Starch is insoluble, thus decreasing osmotic pressure of guard cells and stomata close. According to Sher 1926, stomata open at pH 4.2 to 4.4 when starch content is very low. The closure of stomata is always associated with an increase in starch content. Sher thought that utilization of carbon dioxide during photosynthesis during daytime will cause the increase of pH, resulting in the conversion of starch into sugar. According to Hans, enzyme phosphorylase catalase is responsible for the interconversion of starch and sugar. At night, the carbon dioxide released in respiration dissolve in water and form carbonic acid. It lowers the pH of guard cells about 5. At this pH, sugar is converted into starch. It lowers the osmotic pressure of guard cells, which ultimately leads to closing of stomata. In contrast, reverse action takes place in guard cells in daytime due to higher osmotic pressure and turgidity. Stomata open at daytime. So, according to this, starch plus inorganic phosphate give rise to glucose 1-phosphate. This is a reversible reaction at pH 7, starch is converted into glucose, and pH 5, glucose is converted into starch in presence of enzyme phosphorylase. According to Estevard, osmotic pressure of guard cells is not affected until glucose 1-phosphate is further converted into glucose and inorganic phosphate. According to Estevard, starch combined with inorganic phosphate give rise to glucose 1-phosphate. Glucose 1-phosphates isomerize or give rise to glucose 6-phosphate. This 1,6, it means phosphate group is attached with first carbon atom of glucose. Phosphate group is attached with 6th carbon atom of glucose. Then glucose 6-phosphate is broken into glucose and PO4 is released in presence of enzyme phosphatase. Glucose is soluble in waters. It dissolves in cell shape of stomata. Thus, stomata open. At low pH, this reaction is reverted. Glucose combined with inorganic phosphate to give rise glucose 6-phosphate, glucose 1-phosphate, then glucose 1-phosphate give rise to starch releasing phosphates. And stomata closed. चालू नहीं थर्ड मैकेनिज्म इज एक्टिव पोटेशियम आयंस ट्रांसपोर्ट मैकेनिज्म. According to Fugino and Fischer, 1986, the opening and closing of stomata take place by an active transport of potassium ion into the guard cells and out of the guard cells. According to him, in presence of light, guard cells synthesize mylic acid by the process of photosynthesis, which is dissociated into mylate ions and hydrogen ions. The hydrogen ion protons are pumped out from the guard cells into subsidiary cells, and potassium ions are pumped into guard cells from subsidiary cells. Potassium ion react with mylate ion to form potassium mylate. Potassium mylate is then diffused into the vacuoles and increase the turgor pressure of guard cells, and thus resulting the opening of stomata. A dark period, reverse reaction is take place. This type of mechanism is found only in succulent plants where CAM cycle is found. CAM cycle I will told you in photosynthesis chapter. These are the three mechanisms of stomatal opening and closing proposed by different scientists. Significance of transpiration. Significance of transpiration is controversial. According to many scientists, this phenomenon is beneficial to plants, while others think that transpiration is either harmful or useless. Most of workers nowadays are in agreement that this process is harmful but unavailable. Therefore, transpiration is regarded as a necessary evil. benefit and harm of transpiration. So advantages of transpiration is regulation of temperature, light energy absorbed by green leaves in partially covered into heat, partially converted into heat. It may increase the temperature of plant body. Many workers think that loss of water in the form of vapor during transpiration save the plant from excessive heating. Movement of water. It has been proved by many workers that loss of water through transpiration create a pulling force at the leaf surface. This is responsible for rapid absorption of water from roots. However, it has been observed that transpiration and absorption of water take place even in those plants where transpiration does not take place. Absorption and translocation of minerals. Rate of mineral absorption is also controlled by transpiration. It has been observed that in case the process of transpiration is rapid, absorption of water along with minerals also take place at a rapid rate. Upward translocation of shape. Transpiration play important role in ascent of shape because the pulling force in xylem element is created due to transpiration. Excretion of water. It has been observed in many plants that some waste products are excreted through stomata and deposited on the leaf surface. This happens together with the process of transpiration. Transpiration is necessary evil. Outcome of modern researches have proved that transpiration process does not have any significance. Curtis regarded transpiration as necessary evil. The transpiration may be harmful in many ways. It creates deficiency of water in soil. Excessive rate of transpiration affect physiological activities adversely. Sometimes excess of transpiration cause death of plant. Due to this, plant adapt in many ways to minimize the rate of transpiration. Some of these adaptations are: deciduous plants shed their leaves to minimize the transpiration loss of water at the time of extreme environmental temperature. Many plants adapt in various other ways. Some develop thorn and spine at the place of leaves. After all, transpiration in plants cannot be avoided because opening of stomata is essential for gaseous exchange, which is necessary for respiration and photosynthesis. At the same time, whenever stomata shall remain open, the water vapor accumulated in air space of mesophyll cells and stomatal chamber will diffuse out through stomata. Due to this reason, photosynthesis and respiration as well as transpiration take place together. Therefore, Curtis regarded transpiration as a necessary evil. It is quite obvious from the above discussion that transpiration is not of much importance of plants. Besides unnecessary wastage of energy in water absorption due to transpiration, it may be sometimes harmful to plants in other respects also.